Welcome to another episode of the Gazelle podcast. I'm David Easton, your host for this one, and joined by Gary Brotherton.
Hi.
Welcome along. You're the second guinea pig. Well, no, you're the first one after mine host, Gary Williamson. But Gary, you're a newbie
I am.
to this business right now, but not new to the industry itself in any way.
No, I've been in the industry for 22 years. Come September. Feels daft when I say it out loud, but 22 years. I've come a long way. When I started out, it was me walking into local insurance brokers, handing over a copy of my CV and asking politely for a job. Luckily, they gave me one. Because insurance, 22 years. It's like Gary said, it's taken me to a lot of places. I've met a lot of fantastic people, and it's led me to Gazelle.
And you're on a podcast now.
And I'm on a podcast. Who knew?
Who knew this would be the next spot? So why? I suppose over those 22 years and having first politely asked for a job, did you see Gazelle? Did they politely ask you to come along, or did you impolitely ask them for a job?
Yeah, well, I just wanted a hoodie.
Of course, why not?
It's
how quality hoodies I say.
They are really good, really nice and thick. I've known Gary for a while, and it's a great brand, it's a great company, and for me, it was about enjoyment, about doing something that kind of feels like it matters. When I look back over those 22 years, the times at which I've got the satisfaction, I've had the enjoyment, is when you feel like you're a part of something. You feel like you're making a difference. As we've said, it's mostly a corporate landscape, and you can get lost in those companies. We find there are a lot of lost souls out there who want a home like Gazelle. It's about enjoyment, satisfaction, wanting to get out of bed in the morning and go to work.
So I take you back to those first few years in the business. What did you learn pretty quickly about what was the best way for you to be part of the business, but also to deal with customers?
Yeah, well, it's as Gary said, it's about client focus, and I'd call it an obsession. I'm all about kind of doing the job. I get really frustrated by things that take you away from doing the job. In too many business, they lose that client focus. I can't believe I'm on a podcast. I should be dealing with clients, but it's about bringing it back to that client focus, about actually doing the job, not getting bogged down in internal politics or just internal procedures that don't actually lead to better outcomes for clients, but bringing it back to those traditional values.
So you can celebrate the victories alongside clients as well. You're not just a salesperson, are you?
Yeah, exactly. People buy from people, and it's about kind of establishing that relationship and that trust. It's about bringing it back to those traditional values and relationships.
So what's kept you in the industry over all those years?
Yeah, it is a great career. As Gary said, it is a bit of a hidden gem. It's easy to look at it as one where it's numbers, it's dull, it's boring. But if you actually embrace it, it can give you a really good career. As we've said, it can take you all over the world, and it's when you break it down to what it actually involves day to day, it's about meeting clients, getting to know their business, getting to know their story, and helping them solve their problems, and that's actually really rewarding.
So having joined Gazelle, you've got a specific role to play now.
Yes.
It's not all gin and trips abroad and hoodies, but there's some serious work to do here, and Gazelle brought you in for that, your specific skill set that you have.
Yeah, absolutely. So I specialise in the recruitment sector, and it's a really fun sector to deal with. It's dynamic, it's very entrepreneurial, and there's a kind of great range of businesses out there. But like any other sector and businesses, it has problems, it has challenges, and it's all about getting to the root of those and working out how we can help to solve their problems, how we can make their lives easier.
So what sort of problems do they have in that sector?
Kind of risk management, contracts, and it's about stepping back and looking at the individual businesses. So if you look at a driving agency, the risks that they face are very different to a medical agency or a tech recruiter. So it's about kind of not just going for this one size fits all approach. It's about looking at the individual businesses and kind of tailoring solutions for them.
And in that way, then I suppose we're already stepping into parts of the industry that I'm like, what, really? In recruitment? They don't get flooded. It's other,
Yeah.
Again, insurance to the outside world is very much a case of you bang your car, your house gets flooded, but there's so much more that you at Gazelle can offer.
There is, and as anybody in the recruitment sector will tell you, it's there's a lot of compliance, there's a lot of regulations. They are supplying people to other parties, so there's all kinds of employment laws and legislation that people have to adhere to, and yeah, we can help them with that.
So, what's your kind of ideal way of dealing with the client if they come to you and say, "Listen, we need your help. We're in this sector, or we're going to move into a new sector. We don't know too much about it." Is that where you can come in and go, right? Let's work together. Let's go through what you need.
Yeah, absolutely. As we say, every business is different and it has its own challenges. So it's about taking that step back, learning about the business. Okay, so this is what you do. This is what you're going to do. What you want to do. How can we help that and actually add the value to make that easier for you? It's not just coming in with, oh, see, these are all the problems. Here, there can be too much of a focus on. Here's what we can't do for you. Well, actually, no, let's kind of bring that full circle. Let's actually look at what we can do for you to make it easier for you to follow your plans.
And Gazelle, the brand, obviously you know the people involved, but what is it about them and how exciting is it to be a part of what is a new company with a lot of experience behind it, but just doing the things that they're doing the way that they're doing them?
Yeah, it's about a team. Whilst it's quite a new company, if you actually kind of add up all the years' experience in the business, it's not a new company. It's not new people. It is, there is a lot of experience there. And as I said before, the satisfaction from the job comes from actually wanting to go and work with the people that you work with every day. That's what kind of gets me out of bed in the morning. It's not just working for yourself, but working for those around you as well.
So let's delve back into those 2
Okay.
decades or more of your
Yeah.
experience. I mean, have there been any kind of tricky ones? What's been the most rewarding experience you've had in the industry so far?
Yeah, the most rewarding. I'll bring it back to people. Insurance, as you say, it can sound dull, it's all numbers, but actually, it's the friends you make along the way. Sounds corny when I say it out loud, but it is the relationships you make with those clients. And those clients that see that insurance isn't just a cost, it can add value as well. Again, if we take a step back, it's, people sometimes refer to it being a necessary evil, but it's actually quite noble if you look at it with a wide lens. It's the premiums of the many paying for the losses of the few. It is rewarding. It does help people. And it's bringing it back to that.
Any that really stand out? Any examples you can share with us of ones that have been? Yeah.
Well, insurance, it's about peace of mind. It's about being there when people need you. And, there have been a few occasions where, people have suddenly needed you very quickly. They've got that piece of paper out and, right, okay, we need to make a claim. And I can think of one example in particular whereby it's a large flood. If I'm honest, they hadn't probably put the thought into the numbers as much as they should have done. And I was there to help them rearrange those numbers and to get the claim paid out in full, which got me a nice hamper from the client. And they realised they then saw the value in it, and that when we needed you, you were there for us.
And to be able to then show other clients again, very often people look at insurance and go, well, what are the odds? What are the odds it's going to be me next time? Yeah. If it is to say the premiums of the many paying for the difficulties of the few, but it's they are shorter odds than you think. Something might go wrong.
Yeah,
many things can go wrong.
Absolutely, and it's bringing it away from a cost to people to the value. People buy it, and people often joke that hopefully I won't speak to you for a year, and we. Not that we hope that we don't, but there are many things to do mid-term. But people don't want to use it. People do use that term necessary evil, but actually, when you need it, it's there for you.
And when you see what else Gazelle are doing, not just the gin, but the community aspect, the charity aspect, the being local, the being the insurer, the on your doorstep.
Yeah.
how important is that now in your career? And I suppose how important was it 20 years ago, 22 years ago when you started? Was that there? How far are we going back in terms of old-fashioned values?
Yeah, well, I suppose I've been in the industry 22 years. You grow as a person. You become a dad, a husband, and kind of giving a bit back becomes increasingly important. As we say with the bands, charity is central to what we're doing, and yeah, as you get older, it does become more and more important to you.
So I'm going to ask you to big up the boss now, even though he's listening.
We can't do it.
As an individual, kind of, and it being about people.
Yeah.
It's not just about people that you work with and work for, as in the clients that you're working for, but how important is it to have people at the top of the business with that kind of drive?
Yeah, well, you've got to trust who you're working for, and you've got to trust their vision. And yeah, what Gary's done, the team he's brought in, it's really impressive. As you say, once you sit down and add up the numbers of experience, you must be at like 100, 150, 200 years experience. It's not just a new business; it's very experienced people who know what they're doing.
And in the industry, again, you've worked in the industry, the wider industry.
Yeah.
Can you see the ripples, or maybe even the waves that Gazelle is making in the industry at the moment?
Yeah, you really can. As I was saying earlier, when I first joined, the people who reached out to me to say, yeah, it looks fantastic, they can see the people that have come in, and it does start to make those ripples.
And how, from your perspective, again, to be part of that, I mean, it's to be able to see the wider perspective of the industry and to be able to be part of it. How pleasing is that for you?
Yeah, well, as we said, it's about being part of something that matters, about wanting to get out of bed and go to work in the morning and feeling like you're making a difference. As we said earlier, you can get lost in those corporate environments. It's about not being lost, about wanting to wake up in the morning, go to work, do your job, and make a difference.
So what's the future for Gazelle? How do you see Gazelle moving on in the future, and you being part of that?
Yeah, well, when you're a young business, you are very much an eye on the future, and the plans we've got. That's why I'm here. It's to put those plans into effect. And after over 20 years in the sector, you kind of form quite a solid view as to how you think things should be done. That's why I love working with Gary. We've got a similar view as to how things should be done, and this is now the opportunity to say, oh, actually, yeah, now we can do things the way we've always thought things should be done. So yeah, very exciting.
So let's focus on those recruitment points then that you've been brought in for in that sector. So what kind of products are you going to be offering to companies in that sector?
Yeah, well, we've got some new products in the offering, but I do like to focus on kind of solutions. These are products that can be tailored to fit different businesses and their challenges. As I said earlier, a driving agency is very different to a nursing agency, and it's about providing those products that give those solutions to those particular sectors and the problems they face.
So why should they come to you? There's the sales pitch.
Yeah, well, here we go. It's because we know the sector. We understand those problems, and it's not boring insurance guys sitting down in front of you saying, "Here's what we can't do. Here's what you can't do. Here are the hoops you've got to jump through to work with us." It's actually sitting down, understanding the business, understanding the problems, coming up with solutions, and the hoops that we've already really kind of jumped through to get to the position whereby we can help you with those.
And when it comes to being an expert in a particular market, how much research are you putting into? I'm presuming that every single client that comes to you with a specific issue that needs a solution, you sometimes have to go and do a bit more of your homework yourself because businesses are changing.
Yeah, well, there's two angles to that. There's keeping up to date with what's going on in the industry, but every day is pretty much research. When you're out there talking to clients, you're kind of learning that on the fly as well. You're learning it in real time, and it's taking the time to old-fashioned values, sit down, talk to the clients, understand what's going on, and I say that's really researching yourself.
And what's the reaction that you get when? Not to say it's a vastly different way of working with someone, but actually it's a refreshing way of working with a company. Companies might, when they meet someone like yourself and work with a company like Gazelle, do you see that reaction of, oh, this is just like almost like it used to be, like the old times?
Yeah, and sometimes clients will talk about you being part of the team. And that's the ideal situation for us. We want to be viewed as part of the team. We want to be seen as somebody who's adding value to the business. And sometimes you have examples whereby you're involved in the internal email chain. They are dealing with you as if you are an internal employee, and that's fantastic for us. We want to be involved in the business. We want to see what's going on. So some clients, you might not hear from them for a year, and then when you speak to them, it's, oh, here's all these things that have changed. Well, no, we want to be involved along the way as well. It's not just that we'll come see you once a year, you'll write us a check, we'll go away. We want to be involved along the process, part of the business.
And that flexibility, you can then kind of work on the fly. Then, can't you? If you've got that knowledge and things changing in their industry, in their business, people change. Certainly, people come and go. So, if 6 months later, the people you're working with might not be there anymore. But it's important to have that connection with the business all the way through.
Yeah, exactly. And as I said earlier, the recruitment sector, it's really dynamic. Sometimes you will see somebody say, "Oh, not much has changed." You sit down, you talk it through. A lot's changed. The external landscape changes, but these are dynamic businessmen who are always looking for the next opportunity. We want to be involved in that. We want to show you how we can help you achieve your dreams.
So finally, just if people are watching this, whether it's a clip on LinkedIn or it's on the podcast itself, what's the drive behind Gazelle and your work and what you're here to do, and what's the reason they should get in touch with you, I suppose?
Yeah, well, we want to make a difference to their business. We don't want to just be a cost, a line on a balance sheet. Oh yeah, we spend X amount on insurance every year. We want to be part of the team. We want to add the value, because insurance can make life easier for people. That insurance can make deals happen. If you look back at some of the guarantees we give, people might be getting 10 million of this cover, 5 million of that cover, 5 million of this. Overall, people are getting like £20 million plus worth of guarantees, and they might only be small businesses themselves, and that's helping them compete with the big boys who've got those same levels of cover, but it gives their clients comfort as well. So it's helping people in business to do more of what they want to do.
So do you see kind of Gazelle kind of almost mirrored in the way that you're working with the companies that you're working with, that you can help the smaller businesses in that big competition in lots of different sectors?
Yeah, absolutely. And one of my favourite times to get involved is when a business is growing, because we've mentioned today about being able to buy a policy for a few £100 online. Well, it's when that policy isn't good enough for you anymore. You need the advice. You need someone who's going to sit down with you, understand the business, where it's going, and actually getting away from that kind of cheap online policy to, oh, actually, here I've got an insurance advisor that is making sure everything is right for me, but actually helping make sure that it's set up for our growth as well.
So good luck with your new role.
Thank you very much.
Looking in the future. And again, you can see that Gazelle itself is kind of a forward-thinking company, and that's why you're here. That's why the rest of the team are here. That's why you're suddenly on a podcast. Hopefully you've enjoyed the experience.
Very much so.
And hopefully you've enjoyed that too. We'll be back with more with the Gazelle podcast very soon.